Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to take a look at the 2024 Mazda CX-50 Meridian Edition or the more off-road ready CX-50. So full disclosure, this is a 2023 model year vehicle behind me, but there's only two slight changes for 2024, and that was revised damper tuning for the suspension, and there is a recalibrated electric power assist steering system. Again, not sure the details as far as that goes, but that did change over the 2023 models. And another slight difference for late in the 2023 model year was they did discontinue these headlight bezels for the Meridian Edition, so those are no longer available. I kind of like them here on this vehicle, as I've seen some pictures online without them. And I have to say, I think I do prefer it with the bezels. Just gives it a little bit of a differentiated look over the regular CX-50. But outside of that, all 2024 Meridian Editions are going to be the same as this vehicle behind me. Now, the Meridian Edition is based upon the standard turbo trim level, so it has all of the added features and benefits of the standard turbo, plus a few unique accents, including exclusive 18-inch alloy wheels with all-terrain tires. You have the side rocker garnish, as well as distinctive hood graphics, which you can see on this particular color quite well. They stand out quite a lot. But outside of that, the Meridian really just offers kind of an exclusive appearance package on the outside with the wheels and tires. And it is only offered in two exterior colors, which are the polymetal gray metallic and the zircon sand metallic, which is this vehicle behind me, both which include the terracotta leather interior color. So that is basically it as far as the Meridian goes. There are some additional accessory packages that you can get with the Meridian, which do make it even more off-road and adventurous in my opinion, but this vehicle behind me unfortunately does not have those additional accessories. Now finally, when it comes to pricing, it did increase $850 for 2024, which brings the starting MSRP for the Meridian to $42,175, including destination. So with all that information in mind, let's not waste any more time, see what the Meridian has to offer for just over $42,000. So the CX-50 in front of us is finished in the zircon sand metallic with the terracotta leather interior, and I have to say this color combination works extremely well, especially with the Meridian Edition in specific, given its more adventurous off-road vibe that it has to offer and some of the additional black accents on the outside. Now up front, every CX-50 is going to look fairly similar. Like I mentioned, this one does have the headlight bezels that are now discontinued later in the 2023 model year, so there are a handful of vehicles out there that still have them on dealership lots, but most of these CX-50s no longer have that available. You'll find some gloss black accents on the lower side of the front grille with the Mazda emblem finished in chrome. There's a look at the standard LED projector headlights across every CX-50. The turbo models do add the adaptive lighting, which means it does steer with the steering wheel, and it is quite aggressive, so that is great going around corners and stuff like that. And it does have your LED daytime running lights up top with your LED fade on off turn signals a little bit farther down in that horizontal piece right there. There's some satin chrome accents here on the lower design, which kind of mimic a skid plate, which does look very nice. And there is your radar for the adaptive cruise control behind that. And the CX-50 in the front as well as the back do have these grills, which give it a slightly wider stance, and I think it looks very aggressive for a mid-size SUV like this. And overall, I really do like the front-end aesthetics of the CX-50. Now, one unique element of the Meridian Edition is going to be the hood decal, like I mentioned, with the matte black or satin black on the outside, and then the CX-50 with the Meridian logo in the center finished in that gloss. Looks very nice, breaks up all of the color as far as the fairly flat hood. Now coming around to the side of the CX-50, you'll find the standard matte black plastic trim, or the cladding that I like to call it. This is just a common characteristics you'll find across the segment of SUVs. So you have the fender cladding that wraps into the lower design here on the doors, which is unique to the Meridian Edition with the silver accents that do match the front and rear bumpers. Now coming to the wheels and tires, these are going to be the 18-inch alloy wheels specific to the Meridian Edition. Like I mentioned, they are finished in a gloss black and machine finished on the outside, wrapped in 225/60 18-inch Falcon Wild Peak AT Trail all-terrain tires. So a fairly beefy all-terrain for a vehicle like this. You can see they are 3-peak rated as well, so they will do very good in snow and pretty much every condition that you can throw at it, and it does enhance the capability for sure of this vehicle. Now coming to the mirrors, you do get the gloss black mirrors with the Meridian with the LED turn signal integration. No puddle lights or anything on the bottom, and they are going to be heated and do have blind spot detection as standard. Proximity entry on both front door handles. It is the touch type, which I do prefer after using both types of proximity entry over the years. And here on the side of the CX-50, you can see all the silver accents on the lower doors, as well as the roof rails up top, and a little bit as far as the C-pillar in the back there. And the rest of it is going to be these kind of matte black or satin black with your tinted windows out back. Now coming to the back of the CX-50, you will find more LED lighting, which is great. So you have your LED brake lights, turn signals, and reverse lights up top. There's the same design as far as the front that kind of mimics the faux vent CX-50 badge with the all-wheel drive just below that. And you do have your dual tip outlet exhaust with the larger tips for the turbo models, which is very cool. There's the backup camera release for the tailgate, as well as the chrome Mazda logo. Turbo Sky Active G on the right side. And overall, like I said, the design and everything really works on the CX-50. It kind of gives it a low slung hatchback vibe, which I really do like with the elongated hood up front. And really do like the aesthetics of the CX-50. And I think it is a big improvement over the similarly sized CX-5. So let's go ahead and take a look at the window sticker on this particular vehicle. So take a quick look at the window sticker. Like I mentioned, this is a 2023 model year vehicle with just the minor tweaks that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. But the CX-50 has a ton of standard equipment across the board, no matter if you get the standard turbo, the upper trim levels, or just the standard naturally aspirated 2.5 liter as well, including all of the standard driver assistance systems, including radar cruise, lane keeping assist, blind spot detection with rear cross traffic alert, high beam assist, as well as rain sensing wipers, standard across the board. You do have standard projector LED headlights on the lesser trims with the LED turn signals and brake lights out back. And then the turbo models do add the adaptive front lighting that do swivel with the turn of the steering wheel. Standard 10.25-inch full color instrument display with wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay, 8-speaker audio system. And this one being a 2.5 liter turbo does add the ability to tow up to 3,500 pounds with the available hitch and accessory wiring harness from Mazda. And there are a few additional accessory packages which this one does not have, including a wireless charging pad and the off-road accessory package as well. And this one, as equipped, will sticker at $42,175, including destination for 2024. So take a look on the interior of the Meridian. Like I mentioned, everyone will come with this interior color, which is the terracotta interior with the black accents throughout. Now starting out here on the door panel, you will find many soft touch materials, including this portion up top. Of course, you have the soft touch padded armrest finished in kind of the brick red color, and then that same accent here on this upper portion, which is quite plush. Once you press your finger on it, you'll see just how soft it is. But you will find power windows, mirrors, and locks, with all 4 windows being automatic, which is extremely nice. A metallic silver accented door handle pull, and then a good amount of lower door storage with your 2 speakers for part of the 8-speaker audio system as well. Now coming to the driver's seat, this is going to be a power driver's seat with 2-way power lumbar, which is very nice. And there is the 2-tone terracotta leather interior. You see the stripe up the center with all the perforations for the heating elements. And there's a look at the dashboard, which is going to be all black. Now here on the inside of the CX-50, you're going to find a fairly different design language than I'm used to showcasing here on the channel, given the implementation of the screen onto the dashboard and the physical rotary dials and controls here in the center console. Now in front of the driver, you're going to find a partially digital, partially analog gauge cluster with a 7-inch display in the center, which features your speedometer, speed readout, gear selection, odometer, and a few other items as well. And on the left, you have your analog tachometer, and on the far right, you have your fuel level as well as engine temperature and a few additional lights to let you know what features are engaged in the vehicle, such as the electronic parking brake. Now around that, on the bezels, you do have a trip information button to cycle through that, as well as your gauge dimming over here on the right side to change the overall brightness of the displays. And on the left side of the steering wheel, you do have a small info button. If you press that, that does cycle through some of the displays for the 7-inch cluster. You can have it read out as digital speed with all of your safety systems in the lower part, including your lane keeping assist, blind spot, and other items as well. But overall, pretty simplistic to use, not too much configuration that is available. But overall, I do like the way it is implemented into the dashboard here. And coming back to the steering wheel, this is going to be a leather wrap steering wheel with black accent stitching. It is more of a 3-spoke design, as you can see, with a small slit in the center. And you have your silver accented buttons and controls for all of the multimedia on the left side, and your radar adaptive cruise control here on the right side, including your distance settings. And on the back, you will have paddle shifters for the 6-speed torque converted automatic. Now left of the steering wheel, you have your automatic headlights with auto high beam assist. And on the right side, you have your automatic rain sensing wipers as well as the rear wiper controls. So very nice to see that feature in a vehicle like this. And to the left of the steering wheel, you do have your safety systems off button, traction control off, I-stop off, power liftgate, as well as 2-person memory seating right there. And you have a manual tilt telescopic steering column as well. Now over here on the dashboard, you'll find the 10.25-inch infotainment system with wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay capability. You can add built-in navigation for an additional accessory charge. And it has Sirius XM, AM, FM, USB, Bluetooth inputs as well. And at first glance, this may not look like a touchscreen, but it actually is a touchscreen, but only with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So if you try to touch the screen and use it as a touchscreen with the Mazda UI, you cannot do that. You do have to use the physical buttons and knobs here on the center console. But if you do have Android Auto hooked up, go ahead and switch back and forth fairly quickly here. That'll bring up that, and you can start using this as a touchscreen. So you can see now it does function as a touchscreen, but once you go back to the Mazda UI, unfortunately that does go away and you have to use the physical knobs and controls. Now overall, I think the system is fairly easy to use. It is fairly straightforward. You can see there's just 5 main categories there, including navigation, which like I said, you do have to add after the fact as an accessory. But going through all of the settings, you can control some of the vehicle safety systems, some of the connectivity, such as your phone, Bluetooth, sound settings, and much of the usual stuff you would expect for a display like this. So overall, I think it is implemented very well. You can turn the driver assist functions on and off. And I will say it does connect to Android Auto and Apple CarPlay extremely quickly after getting inside of the vehicle. So I do appreciate that. But overall, it will take some getting used to, especially if you're not used to using a rotary dial or knob. Now below that, you do have some of your vents and accent stitching here on the dashboard. And you do have your dual zone automatic climate control with heated front seats. The seats do feature an auto functionality, so if you go ahead and put that in auto, you see the little seat icon does change to auto, and this being a warm type of year, the heated seats were of course not going to be running, but if you do get the ventilated seat option, I do assume that the automatic ventilated as well as heated seats will function with this vehicle, which is very nice. Now below that, you do have additional storage space here in the center console, as well as a 12-volt outlet. 2 large cup holders in front of the gear shift. I will say this is not the most ideal location for that, but they are nice and large in size and do fit larger cups quite well. You have some gloss black plastics here around the gear shift with your leather stitching for the shift knob. Drive mode select to the left of it with the sport, normal, and off-road modes, which come on every turbo model. You do get the off-road on every CX-50, however. Behind that, you have your audio multimedia controls for that screen, like I mentioned, with the electronic parking brake, automatic hold, and this is where you control the volume and tune, as well as you can program that star button right there, depending on which function you want to make it happen. Now in front of these dual split armrests here, you'll find the optional accessory wireless charging pad. Unfortunately, this one does not have it, so it's more of just a phone storage, but it does fit most larger phones quite well, and I have found it handy to use even if it doesn't have the wireless charging on this vehicle. And inside you will find your 2 USB-A charge ports, no lights inside, and it is a little bit of a smaller space inside, but as a whole still quite usable, and the materials on top are quite soft. Now coming up top to the headliner, this is going to be a light gray headliner with black pillar trim. You do have vanity LED illumination, which is very nice, with your auto dimming interior rearview mirror with garage home link. Overhead LED lighting up here with your panoramic and shade controls in the center button. And this vehicle does still feature a sunglasses holder, which is very cool. Not something you see in every vehicle these days. So nice that Mazda has kept that around. And there is going to be a quick look at the panoramic sunroof. So opening the sunroof, you can see it does pop up and go over the rear glass, and that means it does not open very far, unfortunately. This has to be the smallest sunroof opening I have personally seen. It is quite wide, but it only retracts about 8 to 10 inches, and it will let in additional air and ventilation, but of course it is going to be small just given the limitations on the overall footprint and the design of the sunroof itself. So here in the back seat of the CX-50, most of the materials will follow through from the front. So starting out here on the door panel, this is going to be a hard touch material up top, but everything else is going to be soft touch as far as this back portion, as well as the armrest. There's your power windows and a good amount of additional rear storage as well. Here's a look at the terracotta leather interior. Step in height is actually going to be very easy given the overall design of the door opening and the ride height itself. There's a quick look at the dashboard. And out back, you will find some nice standard amenities for the CX-50, including rear AC vents and 2 USB-A charge ports down below. Mat pockets on only the passenger side, so none on the driver's side, but it is kind of scalloped to allow for additional legroom. The seats do fold down 60-40 split and do feature an integrated armrest with 2 cup holders inside. There is no reclining function for the CX-50, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I will say the seats themselves are put at a good angle, so it is very comfortable. And like I mentioned, there is a scallop in the seat back, so I have about 2 to 3 inches of an additional legroom behind my rough seating position, plenty of footroom down below. And in terms of headroom, I would say I have at least 2 inches. It is a little bit tight, but the ceiling does go up here just past the sunroof itself, so it allows for additional headspace. But overall, very comfortable in the back seat. I really do like the leather seating surfaces and the materials. Feels very high quality, and the color really sets it off as well. But no complaints here in the back seat in terms of overall comfort, and amenities are fairly to be expected for this price point and category of vehicle. Now coming to the cargo space and trunk space behind the second row, this does feature a power tailgate, which is very nice. And you'll find a very good usable space behind the second row seats for the CX-50. Now the only thing I will say, it is a little bit narrow, or it seems a little bit narrow compared to some of the other vehicles in this class, but it is still very deep. You can see my camera bag here is taking up a very small portion of the available space. You do have an LED light here on the left side. You can fold down the seats via this lever right there. It is kind of a one-touch function. Once you give it a little push, it will fold flat. And there are additional storage cubbies on the left side and right side, which are fairly deep. And beneath the floor, you'll find a full-size spare tire, which is very nice, with a little bit of additional storage space. Not much, I will say, and that is where the Bose premium audio system sub will lie if you do get that trim level that does have that available feature. But as a whole, really not too much underfloor storage, but the storage that is available up top is quite large and very usable on a day-to-day basis. And wrapping it up here on the passenger front seat, most materials will be the same as the driver's side, of course. And you do find a power passenger seat with height adjustment, however, no lumbar. There's a better look at the dash layout and dash design. I really do like this vent layout with the kind of satin chrome. Glove box is going to be damped. It does not appear to have any lighting inside. It is a little bit narrow in terms of overall height, but it is quite deep, and you can fit all of your owner's literature and other items in there as you would wish. So that's a look at the interior of the CX-50 Meridian Edition. Let's go ahead and pop the hood, see what powers this particular vehicle, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up this video. So under the hood of this CX-50, you're going to find the 2.5 liter turbocharged engine, which makes 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque on premium gas, and 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque on regular 87 octane. This is paired to a 6-speed torque-converted automatic transmission, and overall I have not had any complaints in terms of the overall power output of this vehicle, and it does tow up to 3,500 pounds when properly equipped, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video. So overall, I have been very impressed with the 2.5 liter turbo, and even though it is just a 6-speed automatic transmission, I would say overall there are enough gear ratios, and I have no major complaints with the performance of this engine. So that's going to do it for this quick walk around tour of the 2024 Mazda CX-50 Meridian Edition. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and or found something helpful. If you did, make sure to hit that like button below. It greatly helps out the channel in these videos. Subscribe if you guys are not already subscribed, and make sure to stay tuned for additional content coming on this exact Mazda CX-50, as well as other new models here for the 2024 model year. So what are my quick thoughts on the Meridian Edition in general? I have to say it is very cool of Mazda to offer a more off-road capable CX-50 from the factory with the all-terrain tires here on this edition. Now all CX-50s will come standard with the off-road drive mode with the all-wheel drive system. So I will say the tires do enhance the capability quite a bit, especially like dirt, mud, sand, maybe even snow with the 3-peak rating. But overall, I will say it does limit just how much more capable it is, given there's no suspension lift, higher ground clearance, or anything like that over the standard CX-50. But with that being said, I do like the terracotta kind of brick red interior with the black accents. I think it looks very nice. The exterior color palette is fairly good for the CX-50 in general. Would be cool if the Meridian did come in other exterior colors over just the two that I mentioned. And I think as a whole, this does offer many of the features and options that one would expect in the low $40,000 price point. But I would say, given the lack of additional features over the standard turbo model CX-50, which starts thousands of dollars less than the Meridian, I would say it is a little bit of a limitation in terms of the overall value proposition of this vehicle. And the upper trim levels in the turbo as well only cost a couple more $1,000, and you are gaining a good amount of additional equipment, including ventilated seats, heads-up display, some of the premium audio, some of the other nice driver assistance functionality. So I would say the Meridian is in a little bit of a difficult situation in the CX-50 lineup, given the price point and what you're gaining over that of the standard turbo trim levels. But as a whole, I have very much enjoyed driving this vehicle. Really do like the overall space, the driver ergonomics, and the touchscreen UI is a little bit of a learning curve and getting used to, but it does function quite well, and the wireless Android Auto Apple CarPlay connects extremely quickly upon getting inside the vehicle. So as a whole, I really do like the CX-50. You guys will have to let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you own one? Are you looking at purchasing one? Or are you looking at a CX-50 and cross-shopping it with other vehicles? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick walk-around tour, and make sure to stay tuned for additional content here on this vehicle. But with all that being said, I appreciate the support here on the channel. I hope to see you guys in the next one.